welcome to the very first Not the Andrew Neil Show. And today, to discuss and analyse First Minister's questions, we have now Stuart, Phil Attridge and myself, Stuart Lockhead. Things will go wrong.
Bound to.
Bound to.
Nature of the beast.
However, at the moment, we believe we are broadcasting live. So, what are we expecting from today's First Minister's questions? Is there anything in the list there that's going to...
Well, I mean, he's going to get kicking.
McGrathie's on the list because Christine Graham's got the question.
Well, Christine Graham backed up the timeline yesterday to show that this hadn't all been fitted up before. But then again, declaring interest, I think letting out Al McGrathie, I mean, unless you're completely blind, stupid or corrupt, anybody could see he was innocent and was set up, but then that's nothing.
And what about...
Well, McCaskill's already stood up to a very
so he's going to get
pointed question and said...
He would have let him out even if he had kept the appeal going.
So,
well, he couldn't.
McCaskill got a kicking.
He said he would.
Were we expecting McCaskill to get a kicking? We're expecting Salmon to get a kicking over Murdoch.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the other question is Joanne. Now, Joanne, she said nothing for weeks now. She's got Joyce. She's invisible, but she's got a speech at the Labour Party Spring Conference this weekend. Will she give anything away today, or is she going to save what her position is? Look, she got cut to ribbons this morning for leaving Eric Joyce's situation to London. London has called all the shots. She's not, and yet she's supposed to be his boss.
She's supposed to be the leader.
Whoa, headline in the Daily Record this morning.
I saw it all about it. He had an affair with a 17-year-old researcher. I know.
You know, I mean,
17-year-old
volunteer.
Obviously besotted, you know, I mean, he's a good looking guy.
I think she's got a good point. I think she'll keep her powder dry, and I think there will be some sort of Devo Max, doubt it, but there'll be...
Devo Plus should get mentioned.
Well, I think Devo Plus will be mentioned at the Labour Party conference. I think they've made that decision in London.
Well, I'd prefer to go for what Keir Hardie wanted, you know, being a Labour Party member, and I'll just go straight for Home Rule. Thank you very much.
Now, it'll be interesting to see which way Ruth goes today, actually.
Has Rennie got a question? Is he on the list?
No.
Does it matter if he has?
Well, I like to watch Tavish Scott pull the strings.
Oh, yeah. Amusing the other four. But see, we're going back to that Home Rule. That's the main thing. Home Rule, Devo Max, Devo Plus. It's what is really annoying me is the complete inability of Labour, and I'm talking about what members are, they don't talk about it. If you want to have a discussion about it, and that's democracy, open, free exchange of ideas, it's barked at, shouted at, we're not interested, they don't want to talk about it. And it's really peeving a lot of people off. It's really peeving me off that you can't actually discuss. It's all about, no, nationalists. And then we're all off for someone.
Well, I mean, your problem as a Labour Party member is you don't have a London party line to follow. You know, it's the union. Now, at some point, they're going to cave in on that. I mean, that's a given now. There will be a Devo.
I'm a member of the Scottish Labour Party. I'm a member of the Scottish Labour Party. I live in Scotland. I live in a separate country with a separate parliament that definitely has different values. Subject, talk about it.
Well, yeah, but I'm sorry, your history is London snaps its fingers. Ever since Willie Ross, who was basically a one-man band, a Scottish secretary, doing it all behind closed doors. You guys have gone with that. That's an easy option. I'm sorry.
I think you can go back a wee bit further than that. It's when
somebody
offered them past the roads a great lump of English money, and then they've fallen over themselves.
I'm talking recent history.
Recent history, yeah, I suppose.
You know, I mean, it made you lazy up here, and your given vote made you lazy, and it's costing you now.
Which is what Keir Hardie spotted.
But you don't. Well, I mean, it was spotted before Keir Hardie.
Oh yeah.
John Smith was offered devolution, and Dewar as well. Although Dewar did try to sideline the Scottish income base.
But it was giving you a few crumbs, patting you on the head, and yes, there you go.
Yeah, because we need your votes. That, I mean, the ramifications of this now, everybody's beginning to realise that it's going to affect England as well. So now the English Nats are beginning to see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, the Cornish Nats are getting a bit more noisy as well. They're after an assembly.
Well, I'm not been following the Cornish thing.
Well, there's one thing going. I mean, this whole relook they're doing that with cutting away so many MPs in the House of Commons. The fact that you don't get something to, you actually have to practically go out and register to vote. They're going to turn it into Tory only.
Right, so just before we go live we're just going to switch around to FMQs. You'll hear all that here on this channel. We know what's coming up. McCaskill gets a kicking, McGrackie gets an earring, Salmon gets a kicking over Murdoch.
And I'll pin a penny that Lamont's line will be unemployment again.
Oh yeah.
Let's start with you then, Norrie. Reactions to...
Well, that was not nearly as exciting as we had hoped it would be.
It was pretty dull. He didn't get much of a kicking, really, did he?
Not really. Joanne looked good this week. She actually got a few nice hits in.
Yeah.
I would say... Well, I suppose we're kind of used to Salmon winning these battles, but he didn't this week. Maybe a draw. Maybe even give Joanne the head on that one.
What about Ruth? I mean, she just didn't. She didn't come up with very much at all. It was. Come on in. We've got another guest here.
Hey, hello. How you doing?
I don't know how we'll have to slip you in the back here. I hope you're athletic. Welcome, Danica.
Slim enough to get
Not
through?
slim enough, I would say.
Look, he's even brought you on tea. Look.
Thanks.
Well, you can get in there if you move him out. Oh, can you get?
Yeah, let me run around.
Just don't trip over any of the
Would it be
cables.
easier?
Now, do you believe it's
Sorry.
live?
I do apologise.
Did you see it?
I was watching, upstairs.
Bits and pieces. So,
That was one from left field. I wasn't expecting a question on drugs.
yeah, it wasn't very controversial either.
And it's one that, I mean, the policy was basically cross-party. So I presume that these figures that have come out have made it look like there's twice as many kids being born, or twice as many drug users having kids. Which was the first thing she held.
Twice as many babies born
to drug users.
to drug users.
Yeah, but here, because for the first time...
What, they put Viagra in it now, haven't they?
No, well, they are actually tabulating it all. They're actually keeping a record of
Never mind.
everything.
You still let the
well,
Russians
No,
together.
well, see, I mean, there would always have been a record. I mean, I have not personal
Maybe they're
experience,
joining
but-
up the record, a bit of a joined
Well,
up use.
second-hand personal experience. I mean, my wife's job involves her in that, and
Involves what?
Midwife.
midwifery,
Right, okay.
and I mean, they're well aware of the drug history of any mother that comes in. They have to be.
But drug use is dropping and dropping and dropping.
Yeah, but
So-
statistically, that would never have been difficult to find.
Yeah.
Well, look, let's go back to
Whether they
But
could go
what
public
was
with
the point? I think the main point was this is costing 28 million.
So I mean, what
That
is?
seems to be
I
being
mean,
about
but
the-
That's the methadone only, though, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, the Ruth Davidson, she was almost invisible. You know.
Yeah, she wasn't. Her usual self.
Well, she was big, especially with that Willie Rennie there. I mean, it was very. And it was as far as I'm concerned,
it was a
Salmon
space-
was a filibuster. He just waffled and
Oh,
waffled and waffled.
But it sounded good, though. I mean, is it a filibuster if he's more or less holding the floor? And it is First Minister's questions. I mean, he's meant to be bloody talking, right?
Mind you, there was that Maureen Watt wasn't a question. She had a 5-minute speech.
That was a bit of a softball, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was Salmon's excuse to get into his life. That was Salmon's
Where did that come
excuse.
from?
Was that a planted question, was it?
Well, it was his excuse to get into the UK government's cuts.
Everything was to get.
Yeah.
But I think
We know what's coming up.
But he doesn't need an excuse. I mean, basically, any criticism around jobs, childcare, education, you name it, he can point to the UK government slashing.
Mm-hmm.
So what? It was a bit. It was almost as if you've done quite a good job for us this week. You can have a question, at
You're right.
FMQ, so your constituents can see you actually do go to the pub.
Right, so did we get any sound bites? Very few.
Not really.
Tunnock's caramel wafers.
Oh yeah, that was really good. Yeah, Tunnock's caramel wafers, champers and oysters.
And then of course Joanne came up with what was her? It was there were two
I'll
long sound
tell
bites.
you, well, Joanne's question is the editor of The Sun wrong.
What was this about then? About the
That
date?
was about the date. But that, I mean, he waffled his way around that one.
I don't think it was very hard. Even I could waffle when we were around that one.
But when
Well, that was an opportunity for Salmon to do his yes/no thing. That was an opportunity for him to stand up and go, yes, and sit down.
Well, no, look on the question of the date. I hate to return to this, but it's either 2 or 3 weeks ago in First Minister's questions when he answered the question by saying that the referendum was going to be 2 1/4 years away, and we discussed it at the time. And I still feel that
You're
was
still
very
trying to
odd.
decode that, are you? You're still trying to decode the meaning behind that.
But why did he say that?
Quarters an awful. I mean,
It's a
2.5,
funny thing to
3
say.
years. I mean, it's nearer 3 years than it is 2 and a
Still,
half.
it's
let
still 2
alone
1/2.
2.25.
But the main thing is, was the Sun correct? Now, I'll ask you a question. Would the Sun tell a lie?
Yes.
There we go. And also around the same time when they were talking about that, they were talking about a Saturday to get more people at the poll.
Can you vote? We'll be able to vote at the supermarket because that's where everybody is on Saturday, or the football match.
It's also half term for a big chunk of Scotland. And I wouldn't think the SNP would be that silly.
Over half term.
Well, that's a bit.
Well, you have half.
How many people go away in October?
All the rich people go skiing.
Good, but they're not going to
no,
vote.
that's February.
Hang on, they're all going to be unionists.
It's too big a brickbat. It's too big a bat to be
That's
something.
February.
No, people who go on holiday in October, the kind of people who want to keep the union together because it's a handy place to store their skis between holidays.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
But what do we else we get? Joanne said that Alex Salmond's restraint is admirable. However, she wasn't too happy about the company he keeps, and of course that was Sir Rupert,
But I thought that.
Fred the Shred.
I mean, the pot calling a kettle.
Yeah, was that a Labour
black?
person who said that?
Or was it
Yeah.
a blacksmith calling a pot black? I
No,
mean, but it's still
I'm sorry,
actually
I'm
worked. There was
sorry.
no sound bites.
But
She came
again-
across good, but when you look at it, it's drenched in hypocrisy. Tony Blair was the godchild of one of these creatures, kids.
Godfather.
Godfather.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have a look at, you can make up.
No,
I mean, it's
one of
a
these
scary
time-traveling
looking thing.
creatures.
One of
they're
Rupert's.
really up to their ankles. All you can see was the soles of their feet.
In a
and
way,
it
it's
still
almost,
came
it's almost
across.
admirable that he's now palling up with Murdoch at a time when Murdoch needs friends. Yeah.
But then again, is Murdoch actually palling up with him to get back
Of course he is.
at
Yeah.
this government for not helping them?
How
and leaving them?
dare Cameron and all these guys
Exactly.
turn around and stab them in the back? Oh, you like your union, do you? Well, now I'm going to get rid of it.
And if
There.
you think Salmon is daft enough, though, if you think Salmon is daft enough to believe him, I don't think he is enough to believe that Murdoch will be there. And he's,
Watch this space.
oh yeah, it could
There'll be a job announcement.
What? Go ahead.
Murdoch will bring jobs.
Really?
Scott.
You think so?
There's no way
How does that even
Salmon's
work?
taking that risk
Well, do you know how many people?
without a payback.
What does it say? Sky employs 6,000 people in Scotland.
Well, Dunfermline, a huge place out of
Yeah, and at
Dunfermline.
Livingston.
Yeah, that's right. Or he's
And they're out in the west of Edinburgh as well.
the Guile, yeah, everything, yeah.
Well, he can do a lot. If you go back to the whole bit when you used to have compositors, the print workers union, Rupert Murdoch blew that away in
Of
one.
course, and actually, to be honest,
changed the whole thing. Fleet Street
At the
vanished,
time I was
everybody-
against him, but I have to admit, like in retrospect, that needed doing.
Well, yeah, it's always. I mean, going back to the Luddites, everything. Everybody, when you sit and everything's going, things change.
I think
It wasn't about needing or not needing to do it. It was about the methodology behind it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
No, he
of
just
course.
said you're fired. I'm sorry, your job is gone. We have desktop publishing now, you know. But the problem was that all the people in that didn't realise.
Oh, he did a little bit more vicious.
Oh
than
yeah.
that.
Yeah. It was
Well, what did
very.
he do that was vicious?
He basically locked everybody out and suspended their rights as employees.
Yeah, because they had already declared that they were going to sit in.
Well, I mean, he essentially got Thatcher to back up and change the law so he could do it.
Did he? Okay, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
That's when you actually to do it right. If you did it on the German model, government employers, unions, you'd all sit round the table and you'd work it all out.
And you'd end up with miners writing all your newspaper editorials.
Worker, standing up for your rights, bang, you know. And unfortunately, the last Labour government kept it on and kept the anti-trade union laws.
I actually worked in a print works, high-tech Purnell's of Paulton, very high-tech print works, back in the mid-70s. And there was one enormous machine the size of an aircraft carrier, and all these wee men climbing over it, you know, and they were the proper printers, and they were paid something like 5 to 8 times the average wage at the time.
Oh, that's big money.
I went straight off the dole when average wage was £30 a week, straight off the dole to £90 a week for working four nights and a half a day. Straight off the dole, unskilled.
It was £90
at a time when average wages were 30.
Yeah, brilliant, yeah.
They were well paid. On the other hand, you know, Marxist education, you can understand
but can you imagine how screwed the newspaper industry, I mean, it's already screwed, but can you imagine how bad it would be if they had retained their stranglehold? And at the time, back in 92, 93, I was working for a Sunday newspaper in Ireland, and I was being paid a penny a word for really articles that I really had to sweat over. And at the same time, the printers and the union guys who were sitting in there. I was going in from college at the time with all my stuff written out in Quark Express, beautifully laid out, and they would type it in by hand into terminals, you know, the little black and orange terminals. And I said, why don't you have Macs here? Why don't you have decent technology? And they said the union won't allow it.
Yes, well. Right,
it's all about government. Yeah. It's all about having a tripartite system.
All right,
working partnership.
Sound bites. What was this one about? Credulity. Joanne said something about Salmond, his credulity to the point of destruction.
Distortion, wasn't it?
Destruction.
Credulity to the point of destruction.
What was that in reference to? What did that mean?
I just think that was
basically what she was saying was that how could anybody believe that Salmond didn't tell Murdoch that it was going to be October the 18th?
All right, well, we're back on.
Personally, I don't believe he did it because he isn't stupid. He might have made kind of intimation, or he might have let Murdoch think that was the date.
I couldn't possibly comment.
I doubt very much.
Strategically, why would he need the date? Why would he actually? I mean, why does Murdoch need the exact date?
No, it's just this whole idea. We're on it, you know. And also, if Murdoch's got the date as well, and all down in Westminster, they're all sitting up to tell us when you're having a date and what you're answering. There's Murdoch knowing when it is. It's another slap that he's using for down there. It's just politics.
Did you see his cartoon this week about?
I've seen a couple of them. Which one? Oh, the puppets.
Salmond as a baseball bat.
The 4.
Right. No, I didn't see that one. Sorry, I saw the marionette one, or the Murdoch being his puppet or whatever.
Oh, he was walking the tightrope.
Right. No, this is 4 windows, and it's very, very good.
I must admit, I thought Sam got away with it on the Trump and the wind farm thing. You know, he came up with this business claiming that Lord McConnell had given his word. Well, he's denying it was Trump him that gave any word to Trump.
Trump had claimed that McConnell had assured him there would be no windmills built off the coast of his golf club. McConnell's not made any comment on that.
Well, I must admit, until that, I assumed it was Salmond that had said something to Trump about wind farms.
Well, that would be really hard because Salmond's got that huge problem up there about it's nothing to do with me, it's a decision made by the Council. And oh, by the way, fire the chairman who disagrees with the planning permission. Do you remember all that? Salmond has to be squeaky clean on that one. Seem to be.
Salmond is covered with mud with the whole thing of Trump, how he got done into that. The Scottish executive do not call things in on planning applications. They're referred to the Scottish executive. That's what the Scottish government. No, that's the first time it's been done. It was over Fraser's, overturned everything. How he got himself caught up in that for another. I mean, sorry, when people like Murdoch and Trump, I mean, I don't really, they're aliens.
You know what? If Scotland plays its cards right, we could derive clean, renewable energy from Trump's head well into the next century.
Exactly.
Windmills in that hair, whatever's going on in that hair, there's power there.
Yeah, the design, because if you see the whole way, it actually lifts off and sits on its own to the side of the head.
He puts it down on the floor to eat from a bowl like a cat when he's eating himself.
Have you seen Laland Pete Warrior? He's actually got a small cottage industry going, creating Trump wigs.
Oh yeah.
Well, worth a look at his blog.
Or if you ever got to see the film You've Been Trumped, that film on it.
Oh, is it expose? Is it him?
Oh yes, absolutely brilliant.
Because he's an idiot. The man's an idiot.
Oh yeah, but when you look at him with his pipe, it was wandering up and down, and it's not just that with what he did with Trump. It's Salmond actually did clearances. He's clearing locals off of these lands. People that for generations have been fishermen and they've always done it. It's like the one that they were slagging off about his farm. The guy's looking at it, he says, it's a working farm. Of course it isn't tidy. You know, this whole thing. It's a working farm. You went around it, you know, everything looks windswept. Fun enough, because you're off the East Coast where it gets battered. The minute you walk in, they're just normal, the same as anywhere else. And Salmond and the police
Salmond?
Well, it must be through Salmond and through his government that
But did Salmond actually turn up for this clearance?
No, it's a compulsory purchase.
it's all compulsory purchase, but by Salmond calling it in, overturning it and allowing it, it's all happened, Trump's doing it, and the police are there hand in glove with Trump. Anybody comes out protesting against Trump or everything, the police are up there, they're stopping you. It's almost like stop and search. I mean, if you ever get a chance to see the film, it's
we're kind of running out of time here, guys, so we haven't given the main protagonist a score. We only have 3. Salmond, performance today out of 10.
Not good today, I don't think. Didn't shine.
I thought he just wittered on. No.
I'll give him a 6. If he was filibustering, it didn't work.
What about Ruth?
Very difficult to judge.
I'd give her a Willie Rennie score.
She was on the park for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Didn't touch the ball.
And of course, what about Joanne?
Oh, I'll need to give her more actually for once.
Out of 10.
I'll give her a definite 8.
Yeah.
All right.
I'd go along with a 6 and an 8. I mean, it did. Waffle went on. You got the figures, but she was very good today.
I thought she was very good, but she didn't really land much of a blow. Let's be honest.
No, but she was good. No sound bites.
She did.
Didn't get frustrated.
She did it all the time. Had she asked that question about the Sun editor being wrong in her first opportunity, that would have given her another 2 bites of the cherry, and she could have embarrassed Sam, because he isn't going to say he's wrong.
So,
all right.
What about you? How are we going to?
I'd give her 1.
You'd give her 1.
Just kidding. Oh yeah, about the same, you know. But this thing of Salmond not shining, I don't really get that, because I think what you guys really want to see is you want to see your hero attacked and then fighting back and overcoming. And I think that what's happening now is that things have kind of, I don't know what's happened to the energy, but they're not attacking him because they see how futile it is. It's exactly what we talked about 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so.
Yeah,
But when you say he doesn't shine, I tell you what, he dominated. He sure dominated.
Oh yeah.
Well, look at
Joanne was very good.
Well, next week,
For once.
well, obviously, we're going to improve the quality of this show. We'll have to bring on the dancing girls next week. So, to say thanks very much to my guests,
We have dancing girls.
Laurie Stewart, Phil Attridge, Danica McGlowan, myself, Stuart Lockhead, and tune in next week for more of the same.
Oh, that sounded just like Mr. Neil.